I'm working on my 2006 Chevy Cobalt SS, and today I'm going to be replacing the oxygen sensor. And the typical code you would get for this is a P0130, P0131, P0133, and P0134. And in order to replace this, I have to remove the heat shield for the exhaust manifold, and then there is the wiring for the Upstream oxygen sensor. And you need a specialty oxygen sensor socket with a slit for the wire to go in. And then I did get the Upstream and Downstream oxygen sensors. The current mileage is 120,527 miles. So let me pull off this exhaust manifold heat shield. It's going to take a 13mm deep socket to remove this bolt and this one over here, and then one on the bottom. And because I had to replace the engine in this car, and the lady that owned it before me ran out of oil when she took it to a quick lube oil change place. And when that happens, sometimes you can send a whole lot of debris from your engine into your exhaust that can mess up your upstream and downstream oxygen sensors, and it can mess up your catalytic converter too. So hopefully the cat isn't bad on this car. But if it is, I do have another one I can slap on here real quick. But I'm going to start with the Upstream oxygen sensor. Knock out that code and see how the performance of the Downstream oxygen sensor works and the performance of the catalytic converter. Now the heat shield comes off, and you can see the Upstream oxygen sensor. Now I'm going to disconnect the wiring. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but you have to pull off the safety tab right there, and that prevents it from accidentally getting disconnected. And now there we go. Okay, now to put in the Upstream oxygen sensor. Screw it on by hand. Definitely want to make sure you don't cross thread it. Alright, now I'll hook up the wiring. A great way to tell the difference between an upstream and downstream oxygen sensor on this car is the upstream has a female connector for the oxygen sensor side and a male connector for the car. Put the safety tab back in there and then reconnect this. And before I knock out the bottom one, I am going to put the heat shield back on. All right, now let me pull this up on the ramps. Always chalk your tire, and I like putting a jack stand underneath the car just for extra safety when it's up on the ramps. All right, now that the heat shield's back on and it's up on the ramps, I'm gonna pull out the downstream oxygen sensor. And nothing I enjoy more than working on a car in the rain. It always is raining in this area. And I want to pull this heat shield away, and as you can see, it goes all the way up to the engine. And there is that. Here is the new oxygen sensor. Remove the protective cap. Carefully thread it in. Alright, remove the oxygen sensor socket. Carefully tuck the wiring back in the heat shield. Alright, wiring harness is back up in the heat shield. And then I'm going to go up top, plug it in. Push the heat shield back up against the car. Now to plug back in the wiring harness. And then put the blue safety lock on. sure it's away from. You want to make sure it's away from anything that moves or the exhaust. All right, pull this off the ramps and clear the codes. Take for a test drive. Make sure everything's good. All right, pull this off the ramps and clear the codes. And that is changing the upstream and the downstream oxygen sensor in a Chevy Cobalt. This particular one is a Chevy Cobalt SS. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.